Hello, Steve White, Trek Boy 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, it is the 59th anniversary of the original Star Trek premiering on TV. There's different anniversaries to look at, though. There's the actual anniversary of the pilot, which was 60 years ago last year, and this year is the anniversary of the second pilot, Where No Man Has Gone Before, which was set a few months into James Kirk's command of the Enterprise, and then they skipped a year before the series actually started the next year in 66. So it's interesting wondering what to actually celebrate, because at the moment there's nothing really to celebrate with Star Trek. It's in a very, very dubious position. We've spent the last 7 or 8 years with Kurtzman's productions, which just come from the absolute wrong perspective, I guess, because his belief is that Star Trek is dead. There's no fan base, and the only way to make money out of the franchise and to make it successful is to focus on creating different TV shows for different genres for different audiences using the Star Trek brand. So having like an animated sitcom, a kids show, a reality sitcom, workplace comedy, a science fantasy action adventure series, just anything other than science fiction and Star Trek, because he believes it's dead. He said it was a dead brand. One of the actors said it was a dead brand, and the only way he believes that you can keep it alive, keep the brand alive, is to just make it into everything else and try and sort of cover everyone. It's not working. They're just alienating the fan base and alienating the fans, and not really gaining new fans, because it doesn't really have an identity of its own. It's just copying other things. So Star Trek is really struggling, and we've just had Paramount being taken over by Skydance, which unfortunately is a bit of a right-wing corporation, which is terrifying to think that Star Trek is now owned by right-wing people who basically do whatever they want. So we've already seen some very disturbing elements of that affecting Star Trek. We've got preying on the Enterprise. We've got biological, what's the term? Either way, a lot of anti-trans and anti-gay themes are sliding into Star Trek. Suddenly all the bisexual gay characters have disappeared. Everyone's coupling off, and all people do is sit around talking about relationships. They don't explore planets anymore. They don't go anywhere or do anything. They just sit around and regurgitate Star Trek characters and Star Trek scenarios from former Star Trek episodes, and just make them worse and make it harder to watch Star Trek. Like how anyone could watch Arena after watching Strange New Worlds, I don't know. So they're undermining and sabotaging Star Trek with parodies and canon disregard, and it's just a mess. And the only hope is, the only hope for the franchise canon is that the new people are going to get rid of Kurtzman. Apparently he's made a couple of pitches which they're not really happy with, and they're all about the money. If they're all about the money, they should just get rid of Kurtzman, bring Star Trek in-house, and then start all over again, because it may be a lot of hassle to start over again, but long run they're going to be better off financially than keeping Kurtzman in there, because he's only there to make money. So there's like a middleman between them and Star Trek. So if they get rid of him, they're just producing the show themselves. So that's just, if it's all about the money, we should get Star Trek back. But the people now making Star Trek are right-wing. So they don't want DEI, they don't want woke, and Star Trek is kind of the beginnings of woke on TV. They sort of, it's like, okay, we might get a new Star Trek, which may actually go back to making shows in the original canon universe, not the Prime universe, which is the Kurtzman Abrams version of the original Star Trek, because they didn't have the rights to it, so they made up their own version and then pretended like that was the Prime universe. And people are like, but that's the Prime universe. I'm like, well, every universe is going to call their universe the Prime universe, isn't it? No one's going to say, oh, we're the copy, we're the reboot, and the other one is Prime. I mean, God, people are stupid. They fell for that. But so that's the mess we have It's like, what is Star Trek's future? It's the 59th anniversary. Next year is the 60th anniversary. Are we going to have anything to celebrate next year? There's nothing to celebrate this year, but are we going to have anything to celebrate next year? That is the question. So it's a horrible state where Star Trek's been suffering for years, and we're about to have a big change, possibly, which could save everything or destroy everything. Or maybe they just keep them in place because it's easier and we just get the same crap and Star Trek just slowly dies. Either way, happy anniversary, Star Trek.